If you're an entrepreneur, I'm betting that your contracts are probably really weak. And the worst part, you're not going to find out about it until it's too late, because one bad contract will cost you three things. It'll cost you the deal, that's gone. It'll cost you your money because now you're funding litigation. And number three, it'll cost you your time away from business and time in a nasty courtroom. Now, I'm Karam Nahas, the 20-year battle-tested lawyer. In this video, I'm going to teach you the 5 most basic things you need to understand about contracts as an entrepreneur. That's why it's Contracts 101. I have a more advanced video coming up, but this is 101. These are the 5 things you may not know about contracts that you need to know to win. Let's jump right into it. But first, I have a free personalized legal risk analysis of your business that I developed. It literally take you 5 minutes. It's a $7,500 value. It's completely free. Check out the link below in the description. I got another free gift for you at the end, but let's just jump right into the video right now. What is a contract? Let's start with the basics, because most entrepreneurs have never had anyone explain this to them clearly. A contract is simply a promise in exchange for something. That's it. That's what business is. You promise to coach me, I promise to pay you. You promise to build my website, I promise to pay you. You promise to deliver a product, I promise to give you money. It doesn't have to be money, it could be a service, whatever it is. In legal terms, that's offer, acceptance, and consideration. Offer is one party proposing the deal. Acceptance is the other party agreeing to it. Consideration is what each side gives up. If you're not giving up anything, then it's basically a gift. So these are 3 elements. All 3 are required. Without all 3, you don't have an enforceable contract. And here's what most entrepreneurs don't realize. Your entire business is just a matrix of these agreements. Now, I have another video that's called Business is Just Contracts, because that's what business really is. Every client, every vendor, every partner, every team member, every deal, it's all contracts, it's all promises. You're already in contracts every single day. The only question is whether yours are protecting you or working against you. That's why it's so important that you fundamentally understand all of this stuff. So number 1, I want you to use inversion before you sign everything. That's the most important thing I want you to understand. Most entrepreneurs, they look at a contract and they think, great, I'm going to make a lot of money, millions on this deal. They start fantasizing about everything that's going to go right. And that's the wrong approach. Here's what I would do, a battle-tested lawyer. Before you sign anything, I want you to flip it. Ask the opposite question. Not how does this contract help me and make me money? Ask, how does this contract screw me? Or what's missing? How am I going to get destroyed here? What's vague? What can the other side exploit? How do I get out of this contract if shit goes bad? If I was the opposing counsel, how would I use this contract against my client right now? That's called inversion. It's a powerful skill. It's the most powerful thinking tool in business and in law. Charlie Munger uses it. You'll hear Alex Hormozi talking about it. I learned it in law school. I perfected it in business and law. It's really how you solve complex problems. It makes it easy. Just invert. Always invert. I've used inversion for 20 years in courtrooms. Before I advise a client on any deal, I ask, how does this all fall apart? And my client needs to get out. What's the worst case scenarios? Where does the other side have leverage? That's how you need to look at your contract. That's Contract 101. The answers to those questions will tell you exactly what your contract is missing. From this moment forward, every contract you look at, your first question should be not how does this make you money? Your first question should be how does this contract hurt you? That shift alone will save your business, trust me. Number 2, burden is on you, the legal burden. Now, let me explain this, because this is a legal term and most entrepreneurs don't understand this and they don't know. And they find out the hard way in the courtroom when it's too late. Now, the burden is on you as the business owner, as the professional, as the service provider. Courts expect you to have solid contracts, not the consumers. Courts expect you to know what you agreed to provide. Courts expect you to have protected yourself legally. Courts expect you to consult with attorneys. So when you walk into a courtroom without a proper contract, the judge isn't sympathetic. The judge doesn't want to hear your story. The judge doesn't care that you trusted the other person, that you downloaded off the internet, you didn't have money for a lawyer, what have you. The judge doesn't care that you've been doing this for 10 years. The only thing the judge cares about is getting rid of your case. That's their job, dismissing your case, sending it to arbitration, whatever it is. But they look at you as a professional. Professionals are supposed to have contracts. So where is yours? I've watched business owners walk into courtrooms thinking they were going to get justice and a judge that would be sympathetic. The judge doesn't care, like I told you. They want you out of the courtroom. And if you don't have a simple, clear contract, they're going to penalize you for it. I've watched these entrepreneurs get get destroyed because they didn't have simple documentation to back up what they were saying. And judges looked at them like they were completely negligent and crazy when they don't. The court's not your ally. The court's not your friend. The court is a neutral arbitrator, and they expect you to do your job as a professional. Now, your job as a business owner means to have real contracts, written ones, clear ones, enforceable ones, to do things that are reasonable, like hiring a professional attorney. That's your burden. You got to own it. And in court, they're going to hold you accountable to it. Now, number 3 should really be number 1. It's probably the most important thing you got to understand about Contracts 101. Ambiguity destroys you. This is the big one. The one I see destroy entrepreneurs more than anything else. The one reason that causes litigation like no other. It's called ambiguity. If your contract is unclear, vague, open to interpretation, it gets interpreted against you. And parole evidence gets in, and that's a whole nother video, but it gets interpreted against the person who wrote the contract, against a professional, against you. It's called the presumption against the drafter. It's a real legal doctrine. Judges are going to penalize you. Like I told you, if your contracts are ambiguous and they're vague and they're not clear. So when a contract term can be read 2 ways, the court will pick the interpretation that hurts you, the drafter, because it's on you. Like I said, the burden to be clear. It's on the business owner, the one who should have known better. So every vague word in your contract that you don't define, every undefined term, every unclear clause is a weapon pointed directly at you. And as a litigation attorney, I've used that against business owners all day long. I can show you how it plays out. Your contract says you'll deliver marketing services. Now, the client thinks that includes social media management. You think it means ad strategy only, but you never define it. You never define it specifically. Now, you got to dispute. Your contract says timely completion. The client thinks that means 2 weeks. You think it means 2 months. Now, you got to dispute. You put terms like reasonable in there. That causes ambiguity. That's a dispute. Satisfactory results. The client isn't satisfied. How are you measuring satisfactory? You get it? Every one of these disputes can end up in court. You promise a transformation. Did you define it? And I've seen this happen because you wrote the contract. It will be interpreted against you. The professional, the judge is not sympathetic, like I said. So ambiguity is the number 1 contract killer in all your deals with clients, vendors, you name it. You have to have specific, clear contracts that are easy to interpret, easy to give to a court if they need a decision, easy for the parties to understand, and easy so you avoid litigation costs, avoid lawyers, avoid everything. The art of a great contract is simplicity, clarity, define every term, define every deliverable, define every timeline, define every obligation, simplify it. You can do it. If it can be read in 2 ways, rewrite it until it can't. If this is hitting home, hit subscribe. I break down legal concepts like this so you can avoid learning these lessons the hard way. Number 4 in Contract 101, what entrepreneurs really have to understand here is that verbal agreements are dangerous. They're enforceable, but they're extremely expensive and dangerous. In most states, under most circumstances, like I said, they're enforceable. But here's what that actually means in practice if you came to see me and we're in litigation. If you have a verbal agreement and a dispute hits, we're now in court. You now need to prove the terms of your deal in court without a written contract. Now, if you had a written contract, you just show them the contract, you agree, there's the contract terms. That means now you need a great lawyer. You need text messages, you need emails, you need to string it all together, you need witnesses, you need to prove what was said, when it was said, by whom, and what both parties understood it to mean. It's got to be trustworthy, reliable. It has to be admissible into evidence, all through memory, circumstantial evidence at best. And the other side is trying to contradict everything you say because there's 2 sides to every story. That's called proof. Through course of conduct and course of dealing, through discovery, and it gets expensive. Trust me, complicated, unpredictable, expensive because the judge is just knocking out bits of evidence as you go along. So at the end of the process, you're basically asking a judge to reconstruct your entire deal from fragments of conversation, some verbal, some in emails, and a judge reconstructing your deal is a judge flipping a coin because the judge wasn't there, and the judge, like I told you, they don't really care, and the judge doesn't know what you really meant. The judge is just weighing evidence, and they don't know what the other side meant. They don't really understand your business. So the cost of litigating a verbal agreement is 10 times minimum. It's 10 times that if you had a a real contract. So put it in writing. Every time, every deal, there's no exceptions. A written contract is not a sign of distrust. It's a sign of professionalism. It shows that you are on the same page. It's a sign that you take your business seriously, and it's the only thing standing between you and a coin flip in front of a judge who wants to get to lunch and could care less about you or your business. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you the honest truth because I want to keep you out of court. And now, number 5, Contracts 101, you have to understand that every entrepreneur has to look at their contract and write it for breach, not for performance. This is the mindset shift that changes everything. This is how you think defensively. Most entrepreneurs write contracts assuming everything goes right. They're optimistic. They focus on what gets delivered, when it gets delivered, and how much they get paid. But here's the question you should be asking when you write every contract. And this goes back to the first point. What happens when this goes wrong? We use inversion. Where do I go for relief? What damages can I claim? How quickly can I get in front of a judge? How do we get relief? That's something no entrepreneur ever thinks about. What remedies are available to me in court or equity? Because when a contract gets breached, and at some point in your business life, one will, trust me, you're not really doing business. Your contract is the only roadmap you have. And if it doesn't answer these questions, you're starting from scratch in the middle of a crisis, and it's going to be terrible, more terrible than it is already. So write every contract with a breach in mind. Include a clear dispute resolution clause. Where do disputes go? Which state, arbitration, or court? Who pays legal fees? Including limiting your liability. That's huge. Including liquidated damages. That's in contract video 102. What's the maximum exposure? Include remedy clauses. What relief is available? You want an accounting. You want a receiver. You want the ability to do those things. Because here's something most entrepreneurs don't know. They don't understand. The most powerful relief in a business dispute isn't about money damages in civil court. It's about equitable relief. I have a whole nother video about this. Injunctions that stop the other side in their tracks, account freezes, emergency orders, receiverships. These are tools that you can use to move fast. I've used them. They actually stop the bleeding while the case is pending, but you need the right language in your contract to get access to them quickly and the right battle-tested lawyer in your corner. So write your contracts for the worst day scenario, not the best day, because the worst day is the only day that your contract is actually going to matter. Remember that. Now, I promised you a free gift early on. It's the ultimate client contract checklist, because clients can be one of the deadly enemies you're going to face. So everything we just covered, specific provisions that protect you, it's in a checklist that you can use right now to audit your client contract, because that's one of the most important contracts you need to have. It's completely free. Links in the description below. Grab it. Like I say, it's free. If you want to know exactly where your business is legally exposed right now, get your free personalized legal risk analysis. It's built by me, the 20-year battle-tested lawyer. It's $7,500. If I did it for you in person, but I trained AI over several years to figure this out and make this system. It's specific for your business. It's also completely free. The link is below. It'll take you a couple minutes. Find out exactly where you stand and get a plan to fix your legal issues right now. And remember, I'm Karam Nahas, the battle-tested lawyer. Defense wins championships, and it's your job to stay legally bulletproof.